Hey there everybody, how we all doing? Today I wanted to show off my top 5 favorite Titan loadouts. You may remember from a few days ago where I put a video out showing my top 5 favorite pilot loadouts by request. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for my Titan loadouts also by request. So without much further ado guys, let's get started. And one quick note that I feel like it's important to mention is that this video will be a little different from the pilot episode, and that my loadouts are actually going to be somewhat different each time around. They're not going to be pretty much all the same with only one change. So you're actually going to be seeing 3 Atlases, 1 Stryder, and 1 Ogre. Yeah, an Ogre, for reals. First up is kind of my pride and joy, my bread and butter kind of loadout. It's going to be an Atlas using arc cannon and capacitor, along with a particle wall and multi-target missile systems. For my tactical abilities, I'm going to be using the tactical reactor to get that particle wall up as quickly as I can, along with the core accelerator to get as many damage cores as quickly as I can. So with this loadout, what I'm going to be doing is basically just being very aggressive towards the enemy team. I'm going to push up as much as I can, wait until they're about to drop my shields and drop the particle wall, and just kind of, set up shop. If I know they have cluster missiles, then I can easily just back up from that wall and, still continue shooting them with my capacitor arc cannon through that particle wall, past the range where those clusters can actually hurt me. So I just want to be very aggressive, and I want to play a specifically anti-Titan role. I mean, I'm going to kill pilots if I see them and they're nearby, and it's an easy thing for me to do, but generally, I'm going to be focusing on Titans whenever possible. That's why I'm bringing the multi-target missiles instead of something like a cluster missile or a rocket salvo or whatever. I want to be focused on, just keeping the enemy shields down and hammering them with my arc cannon. Hopefully I will have a teammate with me with a 40 mil to get those crits while I keep shields down and while I kind of do some CC, crowd control. But other than that, I just want to be playing, just a main anti-Titan role. I'm going to be kind of like the main battle tank for my team, so I'm willing to take some damage. And whenever I don't see any enemy Titans, let's try really hard to pronounce that one, I'm going to be doing my best to farm grunts. Since I do have core accelerator, killing 8 specters equates to like something like a minute and a half or more off of my my core time. And if it's like 2.5 minutes for a core, well, that means I only need to land like 1 shot on an enemy Titan or like kill an enemy pilot, and I have a damage core ready. So I want to be shooting my arc cannon with meaning as much as I possibly can, but I want to be focusing on Titans whenever reasonable. So this next loadout is going to be one that I use as a counter pick to teams that use a lot of particle walls and are very immobile. They're ones that kind of like to set up in power positions with particle walls and just kind of, lock down areas of the map and kind of deal with you in an attrition sort of way. So what I usually use in these kind of situations is an Atlas with a triple threat and extended mags. I'm going to be using a particle wall of my own along with cluster missiles. I'm going to be using a core accelerator to get my core up as quickly as I possibly can, and then again I'm going to be using a tactical reactor to get that particle wall up as quickly as I can. So basically what I'm going to be doing with this loadout is I'm just going to be pushing up on enemy particle walls. I'm going to be taking a pretty significant amount of damage in doing so, but I'm going to try and push them back. What the triple threat is really good at is forcing enemies to give up the land that they're standing on, and the triple threat, with its very short range and wide arc, you're able to lob the beach balls shot by the triple threat right over particle walls, and you're pretty much forcing enemies to either sit where they're at and take a bunch of damage by staying on top of their particle wall, or they have to back up and and give you that space and get out of that power position and and let you kind of overtake that. So what we're going to be going for is basically we see a particle wall, we're going to kind of charge it and just say screw our health, we don't care about our well-being so much. We just want to, kind of destroy an encampment. So we're going to push up as much as we reasonably can, at least to the point where we can start lobbing beach balls over their particle wall. And at that point is when we're going to be dropping our own particle wall to kind of absolve us from taking so much damage. We're going to put a cluster missile on their particle wall, so they're forced to back up from it. So either they're going to back up into our beach balls, or they're going to stay where they're at and take cluster missile damage. Their only other options are to swing to the left or right. But in those situations, they're unless they're going behind a piece of hard cover, you're going to be able to have your teammates start hammering them with 40 mils and possibly even arc cannons if you're close enough. So This is an anti-camper kind of loadout. This is going to force movement from the enemy team. Are you going to die very quickly? Most probably. But your ability to cause movements from the enemy team is paralleled by nothing else in the game. In addition to that, you don't even have to be super aggressive. You can be very passive with your triple threat too. If you're able to find a few some of those kind of key locations on maps where you're able to lodge beach balls over buildings or through nooks and crannies where no other weapon can shoot. You can deny space to enemy teams and force them to get out of position that way as well. So triple threat is a very, very versatile weapon, and I always use it as a counter pick. I almost never choose it as my primary loadout except on some very confined maps such as Relic. If I'm playing on Relic, I'm gonna be pushing that middle that middle pathway that goes laterally across the map inside the ship there, and I'm going to be trying to control that with triple threats. I'm going to take a lot of damage while doing so, but I'm also going to force the enemy team to not be in that power position, so my team can control all those windows and doorways and be in control of the entire map, even if that means me dying in the progress. Loadout number 3 is going to be something that I use as kind of a general all-purpose kind of loadout, something that's good in pretty much any game type, in any situation. There's not really any kind of situation that I can think of that I could put it in where it's not going to perform terribly well. So this is going to be an Atlas with 40mm cannon and extended mags. We're going to be using the electric smoke this time along with a cluster missile. We're going to be using fast autoloader to get that cluster missile up as quick as we can. And then we're going to be using, as always, core accelerator to get that damage core up as often as we possibly can. Not only for its offensive purposes, but also for its defensive purposes, since we can pop it and regenerate our shields. That's very, very important to note as well. So, yeah, so basically this is something that I can use at any range. If I want to play the long range game, I have a 40 mil, I can do that very, very easily. If I want to play the close range game and get up in people's faces, the 40 mil has exceedingly good hip fire, so I can just hip fire that thing and still maintain a lot of mobility just with my normal walking speed. Not even to mention all the dashes and stuff, but just my walking speed alone, my ability to kind of dance left and right and back and forth and be evasive, and I'm fast enough to do that, and I'm small enough in size to do that, unlike an Ogre. So I feel very confident with this loaded at any range. If I want to rush an enemy team, I have smoke, I have cluster missiles to force them to move and break ranks and just kind of plunge them into chaos. If I have an enemy Titan who's, like a herp-derp Ogre with Chaingun who's just walking in a straight line at me, just pretending that he's Pyro from TF2 and just WM1 flamethrower, and basically the exact same thing but with an Ogre and like a million times the health. I can go ahead and put a smoke down and put a cluster down, right in front of him, so if he continues to walk towards me, he's going to take a lot of damage from those. Plus, I can just punch him as soon as he's about to leave that smoke and push him right back into it to take even more damage. And even failing that, it just, even if he's smart enough to stop walking in a straight line at me, what I've done is successfully, created space between he and I. So, I can try to get behind a piece of cover, I can continue ranging him with my 40 mil, and, just kind of keep him out of my face. So that's kind of like one of my favorite uses for this loadout is then like an anti-rush, kind of a, just to get out of my face kind of loadout, but that doesn't mean that's all that it's good at. It's good at a lot of other things as well. Alright, now it's time to get into the more fun loadouts, kind of the weirder, wackier ones. So you guys, since you obviously made it to this point, you heard me talk about the triple threat with Atlas just before, and how a lot of times I find myself, kind of putting myself in situations where I'm going to be taking a lot of damage from enemy teams, with the intention of breaking their ranks. So a lot of times I may not even survive long enough to get that damage core up, even with a core accelerator. So I thought, why don't I try doing this with an Ogre? It's so painfully effective when people just walk in straight lines at me with chain guns and Ogres, and just herp derp, W plus M1. And they ruin my day, I mean, they don't kill me, but they take a lot of health off of me before I can take them, and I lose a lot of space on the map. So I figured, why not grab an Ogre and let's try this. So basically for this loadout, I'm going to be doing like almost the exact same thing as that Atlas, except instead of using the particle wall, we're going to be using a Vortex Shield. So as soon as our shields drop, we're just gonna bring a Vortex Shield up. We're going to catch all their shots that they're shooting at me, and I'm gonna be able to kind of move up on them for free, with no not a whole lot of risk to me whatsoever. Plus, if they stop shooting me for whatever reason, they don't want to feed ammo to my Vortex Shield, well, congratulations. That Vortex Shield is going to stay up long enough for me to get a recharge on my shields. So, no matter how they they try to deal with me, they're wrong. In a sense, you know. So this is a loadout that puts so much pressure on an enemy team that, you know, it's just, you know, it's hard to make a proper decision on how to properly deal with me. You know, am I basically condemning myself to death? Yeah, but I have so much health that I can kind of, you know, live through that for a long enough period of time to really make a difference in the enemy team's positioning. And, you know, it's going to be up to the rest of my teammates to make, you know, to mop the enemies up. But potentially, you know, like in a last Titan standing situation, coming, you know, from a 5 to 6 deficit isn't that terribly hard, especially, you know, if my team is able to get into better positioning due to my actions. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to also be running a cluster missile with this, so we're just going to do everything we can to break enemy encampments, to deny them movement, you know. So if we think that they want to run away, then we're going to stop shooting at them. We're going to put a bunch of beach balls, you know, right directly in their path that they're trying to run away through. So if they do choose to run away, they're taking guaranteed damage, and if they choose not to, well, they're going to stay out in the open and your teammates can continue hammering them while you can continue tanking. Plus, we're going to have core Accelerator still, so we are going to be doing a pretty good amount of damage. So hopefully, you know, your goal is going to be to get that shield core up and running. You know, so as soon as it pops and is ready to go, you're gonna mash on your core charger key, and you're going to hit that thing, and you're gonna, you know, just bring that up as quickly as you can, because, you know, you're an ogre. You want to be tanking damage as much as you can. You know, you want to do everything you can so you don't need to rely on his mobility because he doesn't have it. You know, you don't need to be relying on that dash. You don't want to be playing the corner game like you can with a Stryder or an Atlas. You need to just be up in people's faces and ruining their day and making them lose space. You're not going to deal a lot of damage per se, but I mean, you know, just directly with your triple threat, probably. But you are going to cause them to move, and that's kind of the ultimate goal here. So it's kind of becoming a favorite loadout of mine for sure. And I might as well note, I don't want to use auto eject and nuclear eject on this loadout because, frankly, Ogre's dash does not go very far anyways, and plus I'm morally against the usage of any kind of loadout or perk that rewards you for dying. I don't want to use anything that rewards me for dying. I don't think that that's a good choice to begin with. I want to use something that is going to complement my abilities while I'm alive. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be going for. You know, I want to buff my Ogre to be as strong as possible while he's alive, because he has the potential to stay alive longer than any other Titan. I guess technically, kind of, depending on how you look at it. So there's that as well. And finally, our very last loadout is going to be a Stryder. This is going to be just almost specifically for capture the flag. So it's going to be a Stryder with Chaingun extended mags. We're going to be using the electric smoke and cluster missiles, along with the dash Quickcharger and big punch. So basically what I want to be doing here is I want to have a very, 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 very mobile Titan. Stryder's going to allow me to do that, you know, just because, you know, by nature of having 3 dashes, a fast run speed, a big boost from the big punch, you know, so I can move around very quickly, position myself where I need to kill pilots. I'm not going to be playing an anti-Titan role. However, you know, the inclusion of big punch, electric smoke, and the cluster missile are going to very nicely allow me to defend myself from enemy Titans where the chain gun might otherwise be lacking. You know, so they can't rush me. They must attack me from a distance where my chain gun is at its strongest, or else they're going to get big punched all over, like, you know, right into my AoE damage, and take massive health losses from that. So this is mostly going to be a CTF defense kind of loadout. I might not put it on offense too much because I know they're going to have Titans there. I'm going to play almost specifically defense with this, and I'm going to try and drop it very early. In addition, if I'm playing something like Pilot Hunter, I'm going to drop this in Pilot Hunter too, or Attrition, just so I can, you know, hunt pilots and be a complete jerk to the enemy team. Because, you know, if you're able to use like an outsource card, or you know, something that's going to, you know, speed up your Titan build time, and you get like something like a triple kill or a mega kill at the very beginning of a match as a pilot, you drop a Stryder like right away. It's so impossible to deal with. Anyways, guys, this has been a really, really, really long video, so I'm going to leave you with that. So that's my top 5 favorite Titan loadouts. You know, that's what I pretty much always use all the time. These loadouts don't change very much. You know, these are kind of my bread and butter kind of things that I find myself using very often. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new. I hope that you're able to apply these loadouts and have a lot of fun with them just like I am. Please like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And anyways, guys, we'll see you next time. Take care.